People need to get a few things straight about 911. First of all, it was planes crashed into the tower. It wasn't a rocket. It wasn't the government setting off bombs. There's a whole PBS special on the reason the towers collapsed, the way they were built so cheap for commercial purposes without reinforcements. Empire State Building is built better than the fucking Twin Towers. So people who think that the government blew up the Twin Towers are out of their minds. Next, the idea that Richard Clarke knows everything is ridiculous. Richard Clarke knows half the story, doesn't know the other half. He doesn't know who lied to get us into Iraq. He doesn't know. He knows bin Laden blew up the Trade Center, but he doesn't know that the Israelis have spies here blackmailing Congress to support Israel, and he doesn't know that they're lying about Iran. He doesn't know that they're running drugs here. He doesn't know that they got us in the first Gulf War. He doesn't know that the reason bin Laden attacked us is over land that the Israelis stole in the '67 war that the Israelis started. He doesn't know that Congress is bought and paid for by the Israelis. He doesn't know Netanyahu is a liar. There's so much stuff that Clarke doesn't know that it makes Clarke look like an idiot. Next, you have Alex Haley doesn't know the whole story. He doesn't give Clinton a pass on intelligence. Clinton and Clarke stopped a plane from crashing into a stadium full of people during the Clinton administration by scrambling the Air Force to stop it. Bush never contacted the Air Force about 911. He said he did. That was a lie. There's a whole new book out about that. Bush doesn't know that the Israelis lied to him about Iraq. He still doesn't know. His father put 25,000 Christian troops in Saudi Arabia that made bin Laden mad. That was because of the first Gulf War, which Clarke doesn't know. The Israelis agitated to start the first Gulf War by agitating between Kuwait and Iraq and slant drilling into Iraqi oil fields from Kuwait, stealing Iraqi oil, putting it on the world market, millions of barrels, lowering the price of oil against the OPEC treaty. The people don't know that the oil sanctions on Iran right now are caused by the Israelis lying about Iran again. Clarke doesn't know that. Clarke doesn't know anything about the Mossad or Israeli intelligence except he doesn't trust it. So the idea that you've got the media out there, by the way, is full of propagandists, these journalists who they got lucky in the Vietnam War because the Nazis were in the CIA running the government, so you had basically getting us in the Korea and Vietnam, so they were lucky that they were right about the corruption of the government, but the fact is the American people haven't trusted their government since Vietnam, and this has nothing to do with the real people of America who are trying to help people. It has to do with the Nazis that got jobs in the CIA behind the backs of Truman and Eisenhower. You can fault Truman for starting the CIA. He wished he hadn't started it. Kennedy was going to dismantle it when he was assassinated because the CIA hired 3 ex-Marine guards to shoot him in Dallas. Either Oswald was CIA or he was had a double in the CIA. In either case, Kennedy's dead, the CIA is still there. And this NATO crap, the NATO was the first permanent military alliance with European powers when George Washington warned us against permanent military alliances with European powers especially. So NATO were financing 65%, accidentally killing children and bombing babies, and needs to be disbanded. It was created to destroy the Soviet Union, which Hitler wanted to destroy, and it's now destroyed. The KGB and Mossad helped get rid of Gorbachev and helped dissolve the Soviet Union with the coup. The Israelis wanted to get rid of Gorbachev because they didn't want friendly relations with the West, because then we wouldn't need Israel as an ally anymore. There's so much about this that it would take days and days to go over it. But basically, Richard Clarke is half blind. Hannity doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He doesn't know anything about the Mossad. He's a complete idiot. And basically, the right wing of the Nazis that got jobs in the CIA merged with the right wing of the Republican Party. All of these Tea Party people come straight out of that crap. So it all goes back to Adolf Hitler, and that's who has the hit. It's the right wing has a hit out on Obama. The Mossad is extremely right wing. You might as well say fascist, because they crossed the border. They are basically Judeo-Nazis now, because they've gone over the border. And Netanyahu is wanted, actually, is implicated in the murder of Itzhak Rabin, because the Mossad doesn't want peace, it wants war, unconditional surrender. So he comes over here when Obama starts talking about peace in the Mideast and giving back the land they stole in '67. The Israelis preemptively struck Egypt in '67. They killed 34 Americans on the USS Liberty in '67 who heard them lying to the Jordanians, telling the Jordanians Egypt had conquered Israel. So when Jordan sent troops into Israel, the Israelis took the West Bank. They have no intention of giving back this West Bank. They do not want a two-state solution. So the whole thing is going to break down, like Carter said, into apartheid-like situation. And even the Prime Minister of Israel had said that before Netanyahu got back in there. And Netanyahu planted evidence to get rid of Kurt Waldheim back when they accused him of being a Nazi. All that was baloney, and the photograph was doctored and everything that Netanyahu found in New York. So can't trust Netanyahu. He works for the Mossad, basically. So does Ed Koch, and Ed Koch stopped Jesse Jackson in '88 from winning the New York primary, and he stopped the Democrat congressman from winning a re-election after Weiner had lost a seat. And then there's questions I have about Weiner, who drove him crazy, and exactly what that was about. Were the Israelis behind that in some way? And the other question is, who told Bill Clinton that the Sudanese pharmaceutical plant that made medicines was making precursors to VX nerve gas? Was that the Israelis? Because I can't figure out who would have told him that. But that was one of the three reasons that Noam Chomsky says that bin Laden attacked, was because Clinton blew up that plant. That he was accused of wagging the dog when he did that, but maybe it was the Israelis wagging the dog to get bin Laden mad at us, so that then they could use that as an excuse for not to invade Iraq. The Mossad wanted to get rid of Iraq's big army. It was Mossad that fed Bush the baloney through Larry Franklin at the Pentagon. That's what Clarke doesn't know. That Mossad was behind the false information that Bush acted on. So that's the whole story, and so that's the